2001, a big year for cinema. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Shrek all began their franchise run that spanned the next decade or so. We also saw the likes of future Avenger Dominic Toretto in the Fast and Furious film. The first one, a film centered around the underground street racing scene in Los Angeles, which amassed a huge following, building a core and loyal audience for years to come. But what if I told you that years later, they become astronauts? And if Vin Diesel was in a video game, his levels would be 999, fam. The franchise has gone from a solid base with a legitimate theme of community and, dare I say, family, to memifying almost everything that the first film stood for. So who do we blame? Somebody wanted to keep this a box office hit? Executive producers? The money was rolling in, and there's only so many films you can make about cars. But in reality, first film wasn't about cars. It was about a man regaining his sense of self through the help of his newfound community. Yes, they were thieves. But still, in America, who isn't? Somewhere down the line, an exec was like, yo, let's make these people secret agents. As a car enthusiast whose identity was based off of these films in my mid-20s, I felt bamboozled when I watched Fast and Furious 6. There was a scene in particular that I literally up and walked out of the theater. Up until a few days ago, I always drew the line at the fourth film, but I considered Fast 5 decent. I did notice that Fast 5 and the following 43 films were missing a basic storytelling element that could have made both the producers more money and give us better films. Tension. It's what keeps the audience engaged and wanting to know what happens next. The main characters have a goal, and there's this dance, right, of tension that builds and releases as they go through these obstacles for them to get there. When your attributes are as far up as they can go, you know you won't lose. Where's the fun? Dominating? That's dumb. Likewise, when you witness characters attain damn near invincibility, what's the point? What's the point of watching? They're gonna succeed. This is true for both emotional struggles and physical struggles, but for Fast 5, we'll focus on the physical. The first scene ends without the audience knowing how Brian and Mia rescue Dominic. For context, Brian is an ex-cop and Mia is a nurse in training who are busting Dominic Toretto out of jail. And in doing so, they made a bus roll over multiple times, and everybody on said bus survived.
But amazingly resulted in no fatalities this afternoon.
We as the audience must simply put faith that somehow they figured out how to escape unscathed. Films have this finite amount of, listen, y'all could trust me, before the audience catches on and wants out of this abusive relationship. This is an ongoing theme throughout the film where the cast never seems to be in any actual danger. They get themselves in and out of situations conveniently so the movie can keep going. There's so much missed opportunity to add in some spice. This chicken is not seasoned. Stakes that put the characters in actual danger and bring the audience along as they figure out how to get over the hurdles ahead of them. But what do we do? What do we do when we don't see our main character figure out a situation when we came to the theater to see them figure out situations? Flipped over a bus? They'll be alright. Driving a car out of a moving train? Oh, he's good. Diving into a lake from damn near the height of Niagara Falls. Just a splash, fam. There's only one thing you could do, honestly. Accept it. Consequences are non-existent, even though that's what keeps things interesting. It honestly took the fun out of it for me. A lot of us from the automotive world came to see the cool cars, yes, but the cars were an asset to the story. They didn't make the story. Brian's taste in Japanese cars is how we connected with him. The slick R34 added to his nimble and witty nature. Dom's love for American muscle, which matches his rugged persona, is what was relatable about him. These were their archetypes, and the chemistry between the two as actors and their display on screen is what sold us. In the book Save the Cat, there's a style of popular Hollywood films made under the category brotherly love, which is what the Fast and Furious is. Two bros from different worlds intertwined in a moral dilemma, with us as the audience wondering how their relationship will blossom or end. The first film presented concrete stakes. Brian risked getting exposed as a cop and risked his job if he didn't arrest Dom. Dom risked going back to jail if his heist operation got uncovered. And Jesse put a target on his back the minute he left Race Wars after losing to Johnny Tran's Honda 2000. These risks were accompanied by some action-packed set pieces. And though some lines were cheesy, they were also memorable.
I want to hear about this, homie.
In the films to follow though, the action was on point and the stunts were great, but we knew everybody was gonna be okay. And though we didn't know how it would all end, we also didn't care, which is like rule number one.
When you're telling a story, have you constructed anticipation? Have you constructed honest conflicts with truth that creates doubt in what the outcome might be?
Fast 5 could have easily been 2 films and be great movies. What they did instead was include a ton of action and left out any emotional depth in a franchise centered around
family.
They could have paced the films better by including the internal struggles the main characters were going through. We get a glimpse of it when Brian shares that he never knew his dad and Toretto assures Brian that he'll be a great father. But to take that seriously, you'd have to negate a scene prior where Brian leads his future baby mother off a favela roof, crashing into another favela. Which, you guessed it, they're fine. This isn't to say that meshing action and emotion in a car movie isn't doable. Baby Driver did it well. Rush did it well. Gran Turismo did it surprisingly well. If this was the route where the Fast saga was going, they missed the exit. Get it? They missed, because we're talking about car movies and the route, they missed the... Okay. It's no wonder the box office numbers declined after Furious 7, and honestly, the record sales for the 7th film are because of the last scene in that movie. Period. If the executives were smarter, adding depth to the screenplay would have made them more money. Simultaneously, it would have given us better films. So the next question is, what is a good film? It's that mix.
20% angel, 80% devil. Down to earth.
Maybe I'm selfish. As a car guy and a cinephile, it would have been epic to see this Fast franchise extend with spin-offs for each character. Dom facing the guilt he has for Letty's death if she wasn't resurrected. Brian's journey to discover what his code is after he was brought into Dom's crew. And then maybe, when all of the backstory is established, everyone meets up to pull off a well-planned heist that spans the course of an entire film. A film with real stakes and dramatic tension that even the toughest gearhead would be on the edge of their seats to see how it all ends. But ultimately, this is a wish from a hopeful enthusiast, because along with the elements of dramatic tension, the producers on the Fast franchise know their audience and catered to them, plain and simple. Every car guy cried real tears at the end of Furious 7. It was memorable because of Paul Walker, his impact on car culture, and his contribution to the franchise. The Fast saga had a potential to instill that impact on their core audience through all of their films. An actual sense of family that resonated and had a lasting impact. I'm sure there will be more films after Fast 10 Part 2 hits theaters, but my pipe dream is that they ease off the gas pedal just a little bit and bring back the roots that made the Fast and the Furious the best film of the franchise. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just be like,
I said forget about it, cuz.